Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. How's Eddie Frederick?
So glad you can join us. The highly transmissible COVID variant in St. Lucia. This story takes the lead in today's edition of Caribbean Perspective for Tuesday, 21st February 2023. Details when we return.
Hubbard's Multi-Department Mount Gay and Hubbard's Tire Bay, located at the Building Supplies Compound in Grand Anse, are reminding the motoring public that another round for licensing and inspection has begun. Just arrived on new shipments of quality furrowed and torque tires to fit all makes and models of vehicles at competitive pricing. Shop early to avoid the hassle of long lines. WhatsApp them on 473-405-5482. Hubbard's, quality service, affordable prices.
Welcome back. The highly transmissible XBB.1.5 variant of COVID-19 has been confirmed on St. Lucia. Public health officials are vigilant. HTS News Force's Solange Alfred has more.
The highly transmissible and vaccine-resistant variant of the COVID-19 virus has been confirmed in St. Lucia. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Sharon Belmar-George on Tuesday, February 16th, announced the presence of the aggressive XBB.1.5 strain of COVID-19 is in wide circulation in St. Lucia.
The Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs has received confirmation from the Caribbean Public Health Agency of 12 cases of the COVID-19 subvariant XBB.1.5 in St. Lucia. This subvariant of Omicron has been circulating in China, the United States of America, the United Kingdom, and also other countries in the region. The cases are distributed in most districts in St. Lucia, although the northern and central regions of the country are most affected. We estimate that this variant is already widely distributed across the country at this point.
She says 7 of the confirmed cases are male and 5 are female, ranging in age from 5 to 74 years old, with 1 hospitalized. According to Dr. Belmar-George, XBB.1.5 is characterized as an aggressive strain of the COVID-19 virus.
Based on its genetic characteristics and growth rate estimates, XBB.1.5 is likely to contribute to increases in case incidence. There is also evidence for increased risk of transmission, and it seems more resistant than earlier strains to antibodies, reinfection, and vaccines. Symptoms range from the typical cold symptoms, such as the cough to shortness of breath, to cases that require medical attention. Other symptoms include fever, chills, fatigue, muscle or body aches, sore throat, nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. These symptoms typically last 5 to 7 days.
It should be noted that the symptoms of this variant becomes less severe due to prior infection and immunization, but Dr. Belmar-George warns of the long-lasting effects of the virus.
Persons with this COVID-19 subvariant are also at risk for long COVID, which causes a wide range of health problems that can last for weeks or months or longer. Vaccination and staying up to date on COVID-19 boosters remains an effective form of protection from serious illness, hospitalization, and death.
The Ministry of Health continues to advocate for proper sanitization measures, healthy lifestyles, and proper cough etiquette to reduce the spread of respiratory illness. Solange Alfred, HTS News Force.
Purely political, unfounded, and misguided is how the governing Jamaica Labour Party, JLP, is classifying recent claims made in an Integrity Commission special report about the Prime Minister 16 years ago. Nicole Lewis of CVM Live reports.
As swiftly as it was released and scrutinized was the Integrity Commission report refuted, at least by the Prime Minister and members of the JLP. 107 pages that concluded, among other things, that the allegations of conflict of interest and breaches in the government's procurement process warranted intervention by the Director of Corruption Prosecution. A massive story piquing interest as Prime Minister and former Education Minister Andrew Holness was among those who were allegedly in breach for failure to disclose his personal and business relation with Westcon Construction and its director Robert Garvin. That incident unfolded over a decade ago. In a statement Thursday from the Integrity Commission addressed to the parliamentary leaders, the ruling from the Director of Corruption Prosecution, the Director, Mrs. Keisha Prince Kamika, ruled that no charges are to be brought in support of the allegations made. In the case of the claims against the Prime Minister, who allegedly recommended a friend and business associate for several contracts over the period from 2006 to 2009, she notes failure to contradict or provide more evidence in support of the offenses contemplated meant no criminal charges could be laid. She also notes in the case of several public servants and accounting officers from the Ministry of Education who allegedly breached the procurement and reporting guidelines regarding the contracts awarded to Westcon Construction. Despite evidence to mount charges, the prosecution would be hard-pressed to resist an abuse of process application regarding undue delay. In the absence of prosecution, the Director of Corruption Prosecution affirms there is no need for a redaction of the report to prevent prejudice. Meanwhile, the JLP is lamenting the claims were unfounded and strike them as an attempt at personally attacking the Prime Minister, a residue of the political attacks since the 2016 election activities. The party notes Holness remains unmatched in his efforts to create transparency and strengthen the country's anti-corruption laws. Prime Minister Holness had dismissed aspects of the report Wednesday, insisting he was approached in an emergency situation and his recommendation sought when he referred the entity at the heart of the report. Nika Lewis, CVM Live.
Meanwhile, opposition leader Mark Golding described the situation of the Prime Minister being tapped for possible conflict of interest charges an embarrassment to the nation. More from the CVM Live report.
Embarrassment for the Jamaican people to have our Prime Minister in this situation. And I think it will negatively impact our image and reputation with our international development partners and the whole international community.
An unprecedented matter has knocked at the doors of Prime Minister Andrew Holness following the implication and possible charges in a multi-million-dollar corruption probe by the Integrity Commission Wednesday. The light being shed on this unwelcome scandal has provoked the leader of the opposition, Mark Golding, in calling for accountability from the nation's leader.
He should take away himself so the country can breathe. This is so the country can resume without this thing hanging over the head of the person who's in office as government.
Meanwhile, Golding lauds the Integrity Commission for what he describes as their objectivity and courage in handling the matter, noting the role they played in public transparency and general awareness.
It shows that that institution is finding its feet and is trying its best to fulfill its statutory mandate to root out corruption without fear or favor.
He says there's mounting frustration among citizens amid the constant claims of corruption and tension under the Andrew Holness-led administration.
There have been a number of things happening, the SSL scandal, the way the Road Traffic Act was rolled out, all the errors in it, and the poor public education program, the confusion, and the harshness of the way the police have been enforcing it. So there's a lot of disquiet. This is a background against which this is taking place. I think the Jamaican people are fed up, and I think they feel that it's time for a change. As we say, time come. But in terms of whether it will bring down the government, whether it be in a dramatic fashion or just, when the people get the chance to make their decision the next time they come to the polls. But I do believe that the government will be changed the next time people get the chance to do so.
Golding says the ball is in the Prime Minister's court to do the right thing by the people who appointed him in office. Nasika Aliman reporting for CVM Live.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick.
3 men were murdered in Trinidad and Tobago recently. Urvashitawari Rupnarayan of TV6 News reports on that development.
A double murder at a St. Madeleine bar claimed the lives of 42-year-old Terence Rollins and Owen Danzel. Police say around 8:40 on Saturday night, Rollins of McNaughton Jones Street, Pleasance Park, Danzel of St. Madeleine, and a third man were liming outside Red Chief Bar, Naparima Mayaro Road, Mount Stewart Village, when a vehicle pulled up alongside them. It is reported 3 men exited the vehicle wearing face masks, 2 armed with high-powered weapons and the other with a pistol. They proceeded to open fire on the men. Rollins and Denzel ran a short distance before collapsing while the suspects got into their vehicle and made good their escape. The district medical officer arrived at the scene and pronounced them dead. And in Embacadere, San Fernando, a laborer was killed on his birthday. Residents and relatives of the deceased reported hearing loud explosions at 7:05 p.m. on Saturday. Relatives of 28-year-old Sherlyn Cooper discovered him lying motionless on the second floor of an apartment building with gunshot wounds about his body. By the time police arrived at Block P Embacadere, they were informed that Cooper had been taken to the San Fernando General Hospital. He later died while being treated for his injuries. Police found 9 9mm spent shell casings and 3 projectiles at the scene. Urvashi Tawari, Rubnarayan, TV6 News.
The curtains on the 2023 International Energy Conference and Expo wound down on Friday. HGP Nightly News' Shamara Lane visited the Marriott Hotel where the event was held and filed this report.
The International Energy Expo and Conference concluded Friday, and many exhibitors hailed it as a success.
Fantastic. It was the first year for ASCRIT Group itself. It was fantastic. It was an amazing experience for us. And we're actually looking forward to be here for the next 5 years supporting the Ghana Energy Conference.
Hello, I'm Shivani from Guyana Logistics and Support Services, also known as GLASS. So this conference, it has allowed us to further establish our presence in the oil and gas industry. And what we have noticed is that from Tuesday to Friday, we've received a lot of applications from persons who are interested in joining the company, joining the industry, or even coming to learn about Guyana Logistics and Support Services.
Being here at the conference, it would have exposed Matpal Marine to reach out to people that didn't know about Matpal Marine, because we've been around for 23 years, as I mentioned earlier. But there's young people that don't know much about Matpal, because I myself, I didn't know much about Matpal. I didn't ever heard about Matpal until I saw an advertisement in a newspaper. And so we being here would give people the opportunity to reach out to us and access the service that we offer.
Well, it has been really exciting. Unfortunately, we weren't here last year, but this year it has been a really big experience for Midweek here. We have grown a lot over the years, and just being at the conference, you see the excitement, the energy that has been brought from all over the booths and all of the other businesses and other entities that have been participating. So we're really happy to be here. Well, we do hope so. We do hope so, especially how it's been going. We had a very busy booth. We had a lot of people passing by, getting their blood pressure tested, getting their blood sugar tested as well. So we're really looking forward to next year. Well, one advice I would say is to just be on the lookout, be aware. I think one of the shortcomings a lot of people experience is not being aware of what's happening and really getting the quick hand on securing a booth or securing a place, securing a pass. So that's something I could advise other people to look out for.
The Small Business Bureau, it was okay. I'm not gonna lie to you. It wasn't the best because of the amount of people. We thought it would just be much more traffic. I guess generally because of where we're located, we are now within one of the booths where we thought we would have been. But on overall, we have met the majority of people that came to us were serious. They weren't the ones who just walk by and say, look, what you have, or come to see what they can get from the booths. But they were serious, and they were interested in our services and what do we have to offer.
At the conference, seeing going around and viewing all the other booths has been informative. But as well as it has booths, we have seen a significant improvement in terms of downloads. We've had a lot of downloads and a lot of inquiries about getting the book advertised on as well too. So I could say overall it's been very, very successful.
This year's conference and expo was held under the theme Harnessing Energy for Development. It saw a number of high-profile speakers, including Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Keith Rowley, and the President of Guyana, Dr. Irfan Ali. It saw over 12,000 persons in attendance. Reporting from the Marriott Hotel, I'm Shamar Allen for the HGP Nightly News.
Hubbard's is once again innovating the way you shop with its new online store, providing 24-hour shopping convenience. You can shop now for appliances, hardware, houseware, building material, and more. Free delivery island-wide. Start shopping now at hubbardshardware.gd. Safe, convenient, reliable.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please continue to log on to CaribbeanPerspective.com for more daily news and more.